in the rainy season. That year, the rainy season dragged on unusually long, and the humidity was worse than usual. The apartment I lived in alone, a 20-year-old building in a not-so-breezy area, always felt damp and heavy around this time of year. Moisture would collect in the corners of the room, and even my mood would get soggy. The bathroom and kitchen, both without windows, were especially bad. Unless I kept the vent fans running all day, the rooms would quickly become unbearably musty. It was on one such rainy night, after days of overcast skies, that I noticed something strange. I was trying to fall asleep, the bathroom vent still running as usual, when I thought I heard something unusual mixed in with the familiar hum. It was a high-pitched sound, like wind squeezing through a narrow crack. But all the windows were shut tight, and there weren't any drafts that could make such a noise. The sound clearly came from the bathroom vent. When I turned the fan off, the noise stopped. When I turned it back on, it returned after a moment. At first, I figured the motor must just be acting up. It was an old apartment after all, these things happen. But then the sound became a constant presence on rainy nights. And that wasn't the only thing. Whenever the vent was on, I started to notice a faint, unpleasant smell seeping out through the gap in the bathroom door, like damp soil, or maybe a dirty rag left to rot. At first, I thought it was the drain, but the smell only came when that strange sound was present. Then, something else happened. On nights when I bathed with the fan running, I began to feel it. A strong sensation that someone was watching me from deep within the dark space behind the fan's spinning blades. Of course, no one was there. I told myself it was just my imagination. The rainy season was messing with my nerves, but the feeling only grew stronger. One morning, I found several clumps of mud on the bathroom floor, right under the fan. They hadn't been there the night before. The windows were closed. There was no way mud could have gotten in from outside. Near the clumps, I also found several strands of long, black hair. They weren't mine. The color and length didn't match at all. I began to dread turning on the vent. But without it, the humidity would rise and bugs would start appearing. So I compromised. I only used the fan during the day and only when I was in the living room. I always turned it off before bed. But one night I had to use the bathroom. I braced myself and turned on the vent. The noise started immediately. So did the smell. I tried to avoid looking at the fan washing up quickly. That's when I caught a glimpse of something white stuck behind the fan blades. Dust, maybe? Curious, I dried off, got dressed, grabbed a stool and turned off the fan. I carefully removed the cover. There, just beyond the propeller at the opening of the dark duct, it was waiting. I gasped, nearly falling off the stool. A large clump of coarse, dark hair, matted like a bird's nest. It wasn't mine. The strands were thicker, stiffer, someone else's. And embedded within that hair were several small, white spheres, the size of marbles. I didn't know what they were, but they looked back at me like eyes. Panicking, I put the cover back and fled the bathroom. What had I just seen? Was that what had caused the strange sound, the smell, the sense of being watched? I was shaking. I couldn't focus on anything that day. The next morning, I called the landlord. There's something really disturbing inside the bathroom vent. Please come check it. The landlord was hesitant at first, but perhaps sensing I was serious, he came that afternoon with a technician. They removed the vent cover and peered inside. The technician frowned and shined a flashlight carefully into the duct. They pulled it out, just as I had seen. A mass of black hair and cloudy white marbles. The hair was soaked and emitted a foul stench. As soon as the landlord saw it, his expression changed. "Ah, that girl." He spoke with a heavy tone. Over 10 years ago, a young woman had lived in this apartment. She was quiet, barely spoke to anyone. The landlord explained she had suffered from mental illness and passed away alone in this very room. Her rent had gone unpaid, and when the landlord came to check on her, he found her body not long after her death. The room had been in a terrible state. "Isn't this a stigmatized property?" I snapped, unable to hide my anger. "But many tenants have lived here since. No one's ever mentioned anything like this. And the thing is, we thought we had cleared all of it. We hired cleaners. That bundle of hair was definitely removed. To see it there again was unsettling. Besides, it's been over 10 years. It's not like someone died recently. Most people wouldn't bother mentioning old stories if nothing's happened since." The technician, sensing the awkward silence, offered an explanation. "The whistling sound you heard might have been the wind passing through the strands of hair. The smell, too, could have come from the wet clump." The landlord agreed to take the mass of hair and marbles to a nearby shrine for a cleansing ritual. After it was removed, the strange noises and smells disappeared from my apartment. So did the unsettling sense of eyes watching from the vent. The dampness of the rainy season remained, but that sickening pressure was gone. Knowing the cause brought some relief, but I couldn't shake the unease. I moved out soon after. Still, I think of her sometimes. The unknown woman who once lived in that room. What had she felt while living there, surrounded by that silence? Even now, whenever I hear the hum of a vent during the rainy season, I remember that clump of hair and those milky, eye-like marbles. Do you enjoy nights like this? Give a like and we'll come again.